Welcome back to Sweet Science Boxing and MMA in Hawthorne, California.
Oh snap, we're back.
We're back. We're
All
live.
right.
We're live.
100% live?
We're 100% live.
Oh,
Coach
man.
Marco.
That always hits me like a ton of bricks.
I know.
All right.
I think the first portion of every show is me saying we're live and Marco going, "Are we live?"
Heck yeah. Well, we got a special guest today, Shane Fazen.
Am I special?
Of FightTips fame.
FightTips.
Well, it's a pleasure. Pleasure being on, Coach.
Yeah, thanks
Being
for
back in the gym, it's been a long time.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I think last time I saw you was at Starbucks.
Ah, you're right. We had a little meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We'll fill you guys in on that
Yeah,
later,
yeah.
just so you know.
Well, yeah, we got Shane Fazen, the founder of FightTips YouTube channel. You've got 1.5, 1.6 million subscribers to your channel now?
Yep, on YouTube.
And he keeps
then
growing?
116,000 on Instagram.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Trying to grow the Instagram. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I think the first time you walked into this gym, motorcycle. First time you walked into the gym, you had about 350,000 subscribers.
Is that what I was at?
Yeah, I remember.
That was when we had first moved out to California from Philly.
Yeah. So, we know who you are. Your fans know who you are. But for some of the people who don't know who you are, can you give them a little background on you?
I was a 13-year-old kid in Philadelphia. Had just gotten my black belt in Taekwondo, and was interested in digital cameras and martial arts. So I was like, what can I do to combine those? So I made a website called FightTips.com, and we were sharing some of our videos, backyard wrestling and backyard boxing videos. We started doing tutorials. We were sharing other people's fight videos, and YouTube came out, this website called YouTube. So we started uploading our videos on there to save on bandwidth. And I went to check on one of the videos one day, and it had like 10,000 views and all these comments, and people like, Shane, I just wanted to let you know that thanks to your videos, I started taking up martial arts. I beat my bully, I beat depression, I got in shape, so thank you. And I was reading all these, and I was like, wow, this is really powerful stuff. And then from there, we just stuck with it. Continued uploading videos. I continued training and learning and sharing the knowledge that I was learning. And yeah, it turned into a brand. It took off.
That's crazy. So the light bulb went off on one video, huh? Or
yeah,
a couple videos?
A couple videos. It was basic self-defense, how to block a punch, how to throw a punch, calisthenics to improve the body, and then from there, 20 years old, I met my wife, Marie, and she quit her day job. We decided to go full force on FightTips and try to make serious money with it. I was working as a personal trainer at a gym and a bartender. Eventually, I quit the bartending job, and I was filming videos in the gym that I worked at. Again, started taking off, gaining more money.
So what year was it that you decided to dedicate full time to the channel?
I believe that was like 2013, I believe. Yeah, I think I was about 23. I was 23 when we got married, and it was just before that I quit all my jobs. I started working full time on FightTips, and then we were like, let's hop in the car, let's go to California. We didn't have anywhere to go, no game plan. We were like, let's just get to California. We'll figure out what we're doing there. We had a little money saved up, drove out, and then hit up a couple of gyms, and Sweet Science was one of them.
Yeah.
And a couple people were like, it's interesting, but not right now. But I still thank you to this day for saying, yeah, come on in. You welcomed me with open arms, and it's been a friendship and a partnership ever since.
We could always use extra sparring partners in here, that's why. I think we sparred a few times.
Yeah, you kept catching me with that right hand, man.
Yeah.
I was going to say, who won? You have to tell.
Marco.
He hit me in the body one time. Oh, man. I didn't spar him after that anymore.
That was it?
Yeah, that was it. But that's awesome, man. So, I mean, your channel's huge now. You've interviewed some big names in MMA and boxing. You've traveled the world.
Yeah. Got to spar with Chris Algieri. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was a guy that I looked up to for a long time. Just had Ryan Garcia in, up and coming, one of the biggest names in boxing right now. So yeah, I mean, we're growing.
That's awesome.
It's nice.
When you have about 800 videos now, almost 900, or what's the total count of videos on your channel?
I don't know what publicly. I don't know, because I think we're over 1,000 uploaded. And there's a lot of that are unlisted, that are either in playlists or that I've shared to clients and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's above 800 public videos. We've been doing 3 videos a week for the past, 6 years now, and we haven't missed one yet.
How do you come up with content to fill that schedule?
My wife and I sit down at the kitchen table.
Really?
And
you guys just brainstorm?
Honestly, the best way of getting video ideas is reading the comments.
Okay.
And just getting feedback from real people. You know, whether it's expanding on topics that we've already done or, like, I'm trying to think, what did we do recently that was unique? We try to come up with series too. We try to interview guys. Sure. There's always new things that are going on. There's current events in fighting. It could be a move that someone did or a combo that someone did or something that someone said.
Yeah, or move like this person, fight like that person because
Exactly.
they had a big fight going on.
So there's always going to be idea for content because there's always going to be new things in the news.
Yeah. So when you sit down and you go through that, you mentioned reading the comments on some of your first videos. Some of the comments now, I imagine they're not all positive feedback.
No, we get the haters.
So how do you deal with that? Does it bother you, like, personally?
To be perfectly honest, yeah. It does.
Sure.
Sometimes I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. I think everyone would. It bothered me a lot more back in the day than it does now because things don't really offend me.
Sure.
What does offend me is when they say things about my wife or about the coaches or fighters that I have on the channel.
I can understand that.
For some reason, that really bothers me because I respect these guys so much, and then when other people don't know anything about them, and it's ignorance. 9 out of 10 times it's either envy, jealousy, ignorance that leads them to be so hateful and so negative. So that's what bothers me is when they make fun of or try to pick on other people on my channel.
I can see that. See, I asked because we started doing the videos. I think this is our fifth episode now. Yeah. So we did get at least one negative comment, and
that means you're doing it right.
Yeah, and I wondered, how does that, how do other people deal with that sort of negativity in their life? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think somebody called me a turd. I know who it is, though.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
Personal vendetta.
Yeah.
I didn't know. We know who you are.
You could do that. Turn that into a sparring match. That'll make for a
exactly.
good video.
Oh, yeah,
We'll do that as a
Marco confronts his troll
That's funny.
in the ring.
Cool.
Yeah, I get upset for when somebody does a thumbs down, on any of the videos.
Yeah.
Like I know it's impossible to get 100% like thumbs up, but just one thumbs down, I'm like, oh man, what the hell? What did I do wrong?
Well, I always wonder, like, or they should change it. They should change it so that if you do a thumbs down, you have to explain why in a comment, Because,
Yeah, it's not helpful, right?
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I'll upload a video and I'll refresh it a second later, and it already has a dislike. So it's like there's no way they actually watch the video.
Yeah,
They
right.
just dislike me or they dislike the channel, and it's like, come on.
They subscribe to your
like-
channel just so they could dislike.
It
all
could be
your
a
videos.
competitor. It could be a competitive
that's
channel,
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Pure
Do you feel
hate.
that way? Do you feel like channels like Precision Striking and other things like that, are they competitors of yours, or is that like a friendly community?
I don't see it as that. Most of the guys, no, they all see it as collaboration instead of competition, which is good because in this day and age, that's the way it should be. I think back in the day, everyone just tried to be the cream of the crop. They tried to be the best, and they would badmouth or just try to beat everyone else. But in the social age, I think you have to team up. You have to join forces and work together with people. And the people who don't make it.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed, yeah. Yeah. But I love all those guys. Like,
Yeah?
Yeah,
I follow
Jason
them.
Van Venhelsen.
Yeah.
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 Love that guy.
All those guys.
We've done a couple videos together. What do you call it? Like, he would send me a video, I would edit it in with mine. I haven't met him in person yet.
Oh, really?
I hope
He's
to.
based in Canada, right?
Canada, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where though.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
No, it's
Great
a
coach, though.
funny story. I actually, I followed you, but more recently, it was like in the last year and a half or something like that. I was following your channel, Precision Striking, other things like that. But by that time, you had moved out of sweet science-based videos, and I've been involved with Marco in the gym here for 10 years, maybe, something like that.
Oh, wow.
And then I went through some historical videos and was like, that's my gym, right? I was like, what's that? And I texted Marco and I was like, hey, what's the...
That was when I had the dreads.
yeah, that's when you had the dreadlocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering when
like,
that's
what's that?
when's that coming back?
Oh man, I would love to. They were a lot of work though.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they're dirty, but it's a lot of upkeep, man. To wash them and then roll them and pull all the hairs through.
Well, I read some comments and some people say, bring him back. So I'm
Some
waiting
people.
too. Yeah.
My wife's not one of them though, so.
No,
It was weird when I met
it was a phase.
I think when you came in, you had dreads.
It was kind of like thumbing my nose to the man. It was like, I was working for other people for such a long time. I was like, I'm moving to California and I work for myself. I want to grow dreadlocks out.
That's funny.
Because I can.
Yeah, well, it was memorable for sure.
Yeah, it was kind of like my thing.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask you about the videos. You have several years doing the videos now, and you have to create unique content.
Mm-hmm.
And now that you're at such a high level, like how much more science into making the videos is it now compared to when you first started? Because the title, the location, the collaboration, all that.
Yeah, like how much more work does it go into it now because the standard is higher?
Yeah,
you mean?
exactly.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. However, like my latest video, not the one that went up today, but the one that went up on Thursday, I filmed it on my phone. We had just gotten back from Florida, so we got off the plane. I needed a video to go up, so I got my wife to just hold my phone in front, and I just for 5 or 6 minutes explained 5 different techniques, and we uploaded it, and it got like 70,000 views within a day. So no production really went into it. I filmed it all on my phone, no crazy equipment. So I think I've kind of built it up to that point. It depends. Like if you were to now do a podcast and just do it on your phone, then maybe it would look in comparison not as good. But since I've kind of never really had high production value, people aren't expecting too much, So,
Yeah.
so I kind of did that intentionally. But I do try to do series where I put a little extra work into it.
Oh yeah, because some of your latest videos, the production quality and the pictures, even the thumbnail pictures, it looks super high budge. So
I mean, I do everything myself most of the time. I have one guy that helps out with filming and editing, but he only does that for the big projects, like the interviews that I do, which are like 20, 30-minute long videos. But if it's just the regular tutorials, it's my wife filming or a tripod. I do the editing.
Wow.
And everything else, yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. For you two guys to accomplish that, and then to get to the level of success where you're at. So
Well, thank you, you, Coach.
Hopefully, some other people are listening that want to, aspire to do some great things on YouTube.
You just got to dive into it head first. It's people ask a lot, like, what's the trick to becoming YouTube famous, Instagram famous, and to me, it was never one big video. It was just consistently putting out content, and it was a slow growth the whole time. And I mean, that's the trick. Like, if you're not going to stay consistent with it, if you're not going to set a schedule and stick to it, like podcast, 7 o'clock, Sunday, if your fans don't know that, and if you don't follow it, it's not going to last.
Yeah. But you've been at it for, what, like 8 years now?
Well, the YouTube channel actually started in 2005 when YouTube came out, but it got shut down 2 years later because of inappropriate content.
Uh-oh.
I'd shared naked women. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was a street fight video. I used that as an example of what not to do in a fight, and it got taken down because you can't have any street fight footage on YouTube. So then I had to start over fresh at about 2007 or 8.
Isn't there a ton of street fight videos on YouTube now?
Yeah. I don't know.
They can't possibly monitor all that stuff, right? It has to be based on people reporting it.
There's some really good street fight videos on YouTube.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Not to get too technical, but do you spend a lot of time looking at SEO, how to title your videos, things like that, and like trying to find ways so that consumers or people who haven't heard of you yet can actually find you on YouTube? Or
Yeah, I do. So I like to think I'm pretty familiar with SEO and key phrases and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've done pretty well so far. But to keep up with like trends and stuff like that, I mean, I kind of think it's always going to be relatively the same. I know the algorithms are always changing, but websites like when you spend time on their website.
Sure.
That's when it comes down to it, that's what it's all about. So driving traffic is the tricky part. If you're not doing that organically by just having good content and bringing it in, then you have to do it with having a good metadata, which is a good title, good description, good keywords. You have to have links coming in from other people. You have to get it shared on other high trafficking websites like blogs and vlogs and stuff like that. But yeah, I try to stay up to date and continue to learn.
I'm taking mental notes as we do this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
Yeah.
too.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
you guys would hear me typing as we go.
I don't want to give away too much because I just started consulting, doing social media consulting
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
really?
for fighters, personal trainers, and gym owners.
Oh, cool.
Hidden gyms, we call it. Me and my partner, Vinny Vellucci.
Nice. I
Yeah.
think I met him once, right? Did he come here?
I think you met him at the million subscriber party.
Okay.
Yeah, big beard,
Okay.
short guy, shaved head.
Is he from Philly too?
Yeah, he was my boss.
Oh,
So I
wow.
worked for him. He owns a gym, very successful gym, and then we kind of joined forces after I left.
Well, we gotta work something out. I gotta find out your hourly rate so I can get some
Sure.
consultation here.
Absolutely.
We need to blow this gym up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? But,
You do. You need to get more people. More people need to be coming in here because this is a great gym. Marco, you're a great coach.
Thank you. Wanted to ask, since you've done so many videos, and now that you're on the level that you're at now, you've kind of figured out the YouTube game and how to maximize your views and do quality videos. Do you find yourself going back and like revisiting some subjects or redoing a video, so to speak?
Yeah, I do. I cringe when I watch my old videos though.
Yeah.
Just my camera presence. I'm so monotone and it's hard to watch. But there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm always learning. I'm still a student. I always will be. And there's a lot of things small details that I'll learn about things about the jab. You know, like the first punch that we all learn. And I've done videos on the jab before, but there's so much more. And I won't redo it, but I'll say like, here are 5 details to improve your jab that I've never talked about in a video before. Like I've done videos on the jab. I've talked about how to drill the jab, but here's 5 things that I haven't mentioned yet. So this way it is fresh, it is new content. It's not just redoing the old stuff. But that is good. I mean, there are people who do that and they do it very successfully.
Yeah, because it's hard to come up with completely original ideas, but there's always a new way to look at things, I guess, or a new way to look at the same subject.
Yeah. And then like the entertainment value too is very important with videos because there's so many tutorials, MMA channels, boxing channels now on YouTube, which you may call competition. But again, like what separates you from them? Why do people want to watch yours instead of them? Maybe it's the exact same information that's being taught, but you're just a little more likable and easier to watch. That is important.
Well, I remember I did a little bit of research on the channel, and I believe you're the #1 self-defense fighting channel on YouTube. #1. There's nobody above you.
Yeah.
I think the closest one to you is the UFC. They're at maybe 2.2,
They're definitely
million.
above me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't checked
So you're right behind them. That's
lately.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You're right behind the UFC on YouTube.
I know.
You're bigger than NASCAR, bigger than Major League Baseball,
Whoa.
bigger than the NFL.
I don't know if these stats are still true,
Yeah.
but
At
I
one
do
point.
remember. Yeah, at one point it was couldn't have been more than a year and a half, 2
Yeah.
years ago that I looked that up. Yeah, and it was like the 48th most subscribed sports channel on YouTube,
That's
which is
awesome.
pretty insane.
That blows my mind. That's crazy.
It was a confidence booster for sure. Yeah.
So definitely check them out for content. I mentioned that I follow you, and you've said a few times that you're sort of a student of the game, right? You're a student of fighting. So I've had a few boxing coaches over the last, I don't know, call it 10 years or something like that. And I can tell you that as I pick up new things from people, sometimes they contradict each other. Sometimes you get good advice. Sometimes you get bad advice.
Yeah.
In terms of, having gone all over the world or visiting people's gyms, getting new advice, new content to post out there, what's your threshold, or how do you determine, this is something that's worth posting versus like, I'm not so sure about that?
I mean, I kind of, and I say this a lot in my videos too, is like, this is knowledge. This is, do with it what you want. You can take it or leave it. If this works for you, great, awesome. If not, you don't have to practice. You don't have to train it. It's funny though. I mean, training in Philly, I trained at 2 different boxing gyms. And boxing gyms as compared to MMA gyms or kickboxing gyms is so different. Like when you're in a boxing gym and you have a coach, if another coach comes up to you and like gives you a bit of advice, your original boxing coach will be like, what did he say to you? No, don't listen to him. I'm your coach. You talk to me only. That's how most boxing gyms are. Here, it's not like that. That's what I really appreciate about this place is everyone works together as a unit to try to build their fighters up. But in MMA gyms, that's what it's like. They're like, go over to coach whoever. He'll tell you what to do.
Okay.
They trust each other more. To each his own. coaches are different, and I understand both. I understand, I'm trying to develop you in a certain way, a certain style, a certain strategy. If something's going to contradict, that's going to that's going to mess things up a little bit. So I appreciate it, but yeah.
But Philly's really old school, and maybe the gyms that you went to, the boxing gyms, were they around for a while?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, yeah, because I find that older gyms, or the gyms that have been around for a long time, they're like that. You just pay the fee to walk in, and there's a bunch of trainers there, and you just pick one. And
you know what's funny? Both gyms that I've trained at, they were all the coaches that were volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of like retired cops or retired boxers, just local guys, dads. So it's funny that they take it so seriously because they're not getting paid for it. But I guess they're trying to find the big name, build him up, and then become.
It's a diamond in the rough there,
Yeah.
Especially since they're doing it for free, they're hoping it pays off later.
Right, that makes sense.
But yeah, there's definitely at least here we're a team, but there's a lot of I call it poaching from other gyms, and they'll kind of scout your gym, or they'll look at your fighters when you're at a show.
Yeah.
And then if you're not careful, if you're not paying attention, one of the coaches is going to go talk to your fighter and say, "Hey, you're really good. Maybe you should come over here."
Wow.
It's happening.
I think one of the hardest things too is taking someone from the very start, someone that's completely green, has not trained at all, and teaching them the basics.
Yeah.
Like if you do that and then someone snatches up your fighter, it's like, well, you just kind of hone in on their techniques. You didn't actually teach them from the start,
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. It's a gut punch for sure when they take the guy. It's happened a few times.
I was gonna say, how many times has that happened?
It's happened like 3 times.
Oh.
And they're all pretty good fighters. Some Golden Glove champions.
Wow.
But I digress.
Do you think that old school mentality is kind of a problem in boxing? I'll give you an example of what I mean. I assume that most trainers that you train with tell you how to do something because that's how they were told how to do it by their coach, and that's how they were told how to do it by their coach. If you actually go someone, why do I hit a speed bag this way, even though you don't ever punch that way in a fight, for instance? Most people will tell you that's because that's how I trained with my coach. That's what they told me to do. Is that an issue, or like should we be more concerned with the science of fighting and why we do things that we do?
I think so, because like you said, in MMA, you work as a team. You got somebody teaching you ground, kicking, and then boxing. And I think that's a good dynamic right there. If they can translate that over into boxing, that would work. That's kind of how we do it here. I mostly work on power punches. The other coaches work on fundamentals, and some other coaches work on like footwork and speed. But in general, boxing is like an old school. Everything's got an old school mentality to it. So there's not too many gyms that are like forward thinking that way, where we're a team. Boxer shows up, and you go to this coach for that. You go to this. There's a lot of well, like you said, separation. And this is a small building, so we can't have separation.
Yeah,
we gotta
that makes sense.
work together. But
I think there's a pro and con to both. I think if you get too scientific with it, you may like get that paralysis through analysis, where like in the middle of the fight you're trying to calculate down to the specific angle, and you overthink it. Whereas if you have the old school boxing mentality, where it's just kind of like brute force, you put the hours in the gym and you just keep training until your hands are rock hard and your head is rock hard and you just go forward. I think it depends on the student and how they learn. One of my favorite coaches is Coach Trevor Whitman, who's Rose Namajunas as his coach, just beat Joanna for the title, and he breaks things down like that, very scientific. He wants to get down to the exact angle. He talks about what specific knuckles to land with, like down to that, and that's the kind of stuff that I really appreciate and enjoy. So
It's good, man. Yeah, I think I like it personally. I think that's one of the things about the YouTube generation, is being able to, obviously I get a lot of really sound advice in here, which is why I've been coming here as long as I've been coming here.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, so I really appreciate it, but I also like getting to watch, fight tips or precision striking, and sort of supplement that and see what other people are doing too. Try some stuff that's maybe a little bit different that might get me in trouble in here.
I think that's the word, supplement.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I've got boxers that bounce around. They'll train here, they'll train at another gym, and it's okay.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you don't own anybody. I mean, some boxing coaches take it really personally when they go somewhere else. But if they could learn if they learn something here, they take off, they learn something else, and then they come back and they're better, then that's fine.
Right.
And at the end of the day, being a coach, you're teaching people through the videos, and you're passionate about it. You're doing it because you like to teach. You're not doing it because I want to own this guy, or like, at least I'm not doing it because I want to
at
own
this
somebody.
point, I don't have fighters.
Yeah.
Do you think about that ever? Do you want to train fighters? Like,
All
Good
the
question.
time.
really?
All the time, yeah. Just a few. I just want like one or two fighters that I could just focus all of my attention on. Yeah. I'm traveling so much lately that it would be really hard, and it wouldn't be fair to them.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, let's talk about you're doing the YouTube channel, and that's evolved into so many things. What kind of doors has this opened up for you?
Lots. So sponsorship opportunities, working with Taco Bell, Dave and Buster's, Bellator MMA, Dollar Shave Club. These people reach out to me too. I think just for a couple brands that I actually reached out to them, but otherwise it was them coming to me, it's easy work at that point. Just open up the email and negotiate, and then agree to the terms. Besides that, the biggest part was meeting all the different coaches and fighters, people that I've always idolized and looked up to, and now they're standing next to me and they're teaching me on FightTips. Is the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah. Has anybody been difficult to work with, or not difficult
Name
to work?
names in the camera.
No, not difficult to work with so much, but like even though you're on this level, they're still like, no, we're cool, or no, we don't have time to work with you. Is like there anybody you're trying to get that's like keeps saying no?
It's hard to get in contact with certain people, but no, I haven't heard anyone actually like turn me down.
Yeah, rejection.
Let me say this, not being difficult, but are there people who you would really like to work with who you
That's a
you
good question.
haven't yet, who you would?
There are. You put me on the spot. Let me think. Who haven't I worked with? It's funny because I've worked with a lot of the guys that I was like, this is it, the holy grail. I made it. I did it.
Yeah, if
like,
you guys don't know, he was sparring Chris Algieri in his garage last year.
And that
or
was
something.
that was like the coolest thing ever. And then I just sparred Sanchai 2 weeks ago, who's like arguably
cool.
one of the best Muay Thai fighters of all time. And I had to take a second where I took a step back and I just had this big grin on my face, and I'm like, I am sparring with Sanchai right now. Like I had to like really live in the moment. It was awesome, man.
Yeah. That's
So, I haven't trained with Bokal yet. It's another Muay Thai fighter. Crow Cop would be really cool as an MMA guy. Man, I've met so many people now.
Yeah.
It's tough. I know that afterwards, 5 minutes from now, I'm going to be like, that person. But right now, I can't think of anyone.
How does the email to Chris Algieri work, by the way? How does that communication work? Hey, come fight me in my garage. And he's like, yeah, cool.
I got a punching bag in my garage.
How did that work out? A lot of the times I meet these guys through Instagram DMs or Twitter.
Okay.
Twitter's helped a lot because ever since I became verified, because once you become verified, it opens up this whole nother section on Twitter where you can only speak with other verified people. So it filters out hundreds of thousands
You're
of
part of
tweets
the
that
club.
you get. Yeah. So I met a lot of people through there, and then I think Chris, I may have mentioned him in a couple videos, and he started following me, and then from there I just reached out and I said, we got to get a video in together, and he's like, yeah, I would love to. And then I think it was a collab with Camara Coffee. He's sponsored with or working with Camara Coffee, and that whole team came out, and they were like, "You guys want to spar?" And I was like, "Of course,
Hell yeah.
yeah. Just don't kill me."
Yeah, he's like a nutritionist now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was working the corner. What was for Danny Jacobs or something?
Danny Jacobs,
for Danny Jacobs was working the corner as their nutritionist.
I followed his Instagram for a while, and a lot of what he posts is what he's eating and
Yeah.
how his workout is, and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So good for him. I don't know if he's gonna box anymore, but
I don't know if he wants me to share this, but he was talking about kickboxing because he's
Oh,
an
wow.
undefeated
He was a
kickboxer.
kickboxer, yeah.
What was he, like
He wants-
19-0?
wants to go back to that.
He was just flirting with the idea of doing it, but
Fighters always flirt with the idea of going back to it.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask is you cover boxing, you cover ground game, you cover kicking, you cover all forms in martial arts, and then you've competed in Muay Thai. Didn't you fly to Thailand one time to fight? Muay Thai. I'm a boxer. Well, you competed in boxing.
That's what cows do. Muay Thai.
All right.
Yeah, so I fought in Thailand when I was 19. So it was almost 10 years ago, but 9 years ago now. And then hurt my foot in that fight, and that's when I got into boxing. And then had a couple amateur matches in Philly, moved out here, and then I had 3 fights under you, I think.
Yeah, but what's your favorite of all the art forms?
I think I would say like striking, like a combination of striking. I guess you would call it kickboxing. I really like Dutch style kickboxing as a focus on boxing. A lot of low kicks, knee strikes, whereas Muay Thai is more so of a focus on the kicks. Their punches, their hands aren't as good as Dutch style kickboxers or as traditional Western boxers. So I would say like a Dutch style kickboxing or kickboxing, because I also incorporate a lot of Taekwondo. So I like spin kicks, because that was my first style. So it's kind of a hybrid, but not the biggest fan of grappling. I know it's important and I train it. I just don't enjoy it as much as I do the striking. So I would say a hybrid striking style. Although Muay Thai always has a special place in my heart.
Speaking of a hybrid striking style, so you created your own martial art, right?
No.
I saw the vlog.
No.
I saw the vlog.
There was a strong disclaimer. That was a big clickbait title where I said I had started my own martial art. But
Yeah, I know.
it was a concept, I guess, incorporating parkour and MMA. Like I was saying, if Cain Velasquez were to walk in right now, Brock Lesnar walked in and challenged us to a fight, would we stand up and go, all right, square up? I'd be like, no. Like, what's the closest thing? I'd hit him over the head with this. And then I'd be out the door, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what I call it, urban boxing. Yeah.
Not a bad concept. Is it?
Yeah, right. It's like
What else?
what Jackie
what else do you
Chan
do against Brock Lesnar?
what Jackie Chan does in every one of his movies. Yeah.
What else do you do against those guys?
Yeah.
Yes. You did last year. I think it was Trigger, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was. Tell our audience a little bit about that. Was that a record?
Yeah. So
You set a record with
we
that.
we did, but Guinness didn't want to give it to us.
Oh, no way.
Their reasoning was something very abstract. It was something like, since it's not in a full length movie, we can't give it to you, which is weird because they can give records to people who eat donuts in a certain amount of time, and
They have
cats and have records and
ridiculous
stuff.
records.
Yeah.
So it was the longest uncut fight scene ever, right?
Yeah. So we went for
Filmed
I think
in one take or something.
Yeah, it was one take. It's just this fight scene where we tried to make it very martial arts style, mixed with like a dark comedy, mixed with just action. But the first guy I fight is just boxing. He just throws hands. Then I go to a Taekwondo girl that just throws kicks. And then kind of like the game Mega Man, where like after you beat the guy, you get their superpower. Then I use the boxing to beat the Taekwondo. I use the Taekwondo to beat the Aikido. I use the Aikido. But yeah, it came out to be, I think, 7 minutes nonstop, which beat Tony Jaa's record in the movie Tom Yum Goong, The Protector. I think his was something like 5 minutes or something. Really cool scene where he's running up a staircase, just mowing dudes down. I was inspired by that, and I was like, but let's beat that.
Yeah, it was impressive. If anybody is interested in watching it, just go on Shane's channel and look for Trigger and watch it. I thought it was interesting because it seemed to like have a backstory, and I was like, man, I want to watch the whole movie.
Yeah, and we kind of did it that way because we were like, if this does really well, we'll film something before and film something after, and we'll make it a full length movie.
Yeah. You haven't been approached on that, or
no? No. People ask me all the time, like, is that what you want to do? Like, you want to become the next action star? And it's not. Like, if someone approached me, of course I'd consider it, but that's not what I'm chasing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I watch a lot of your stuff, and I've seen the progression, and it just seems like I don't know, this just seems like a natural evolution to what you've been doing.
I like it. I mean, I like my privacy. I don't want to have to sign autographs when I'm sitting down at dinner,
do you get recognized a lot?
A lot.
On the street?
Yeah. Not to like boast, but a lot. Like I would say like 5 or 6 times a week.
Yeah, because I get people who tell me, hey, like they come in here, I've seen your gym on the guys on some fight channel,
Really?
FightTips,
Oh, well, good.
all the time. And I'm like, we only did a couple episodes, but I can imagine you get recognized on the street a lot.
Yeah, like people will like pull over while driving.
No way.
And be like, I recognize your dog. That's Sully, right? Like
Oh, wow,
yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, which is kind of and like being such a self-defense focused person, it's kind of scary to me too, because I'm like, man, how much do people know about me? So then I have to keep like my address, my home, my personal life on the down low, but then I also have to push it.
Well, yeah, don't people like recognize you and they say, hey, you're that fight guy? Dude, do you really know how to fight? Can I fight you?
But that hasn't happened yet.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah, that Bruce Lee effect, where everybody you run into wants to try take a crack at you. You haven't got that one yet.
Yeah. Well, that's why I always say, I'm just a coach. I'm a conveyor of information. People teach me, and I teach you. I don't pretend to be this tough guy.
Yeah. But every now and then you do get, you get pretty good sparring, or you do. Recently, you did a charity event down the street.
Yeah.
With another gym down the street called Systems Training, and it was for a good cause.
Yeah.
And I think that was like that was the last time you did some kind of competition, right?
That was
Tell us about that.
December, I believe. Yeah, 2017. That was for my opponent was Marcus Koval, one of the best human beings on this planet. He lost his 15-month-old son right here on this road. Got hit by a drunk driver, and to raise awareness and to raise some money for his foundation. Remember Liam's life. We put on a show. So I did a seminar that morning, and then we had a bunch of fights, and we were the co-main event. So we just did an exhibition match. We weren't trying to kill each other, but threw some fun kicks, jumped off the wall.
The wall kick.
Yeah. The Anthony Pettis Showtime kick.
How long have you been waiting for that?
yeah. I was hoping to go another full 180 and kick with the other leg, but
Didn't work out.
It wasn't happening. Yeah, but that was I try to stay active and spar once a week. I try to spar.
So now I see you've got some seminars coming up as well.
Yeah. So that's really what I want to do. I like traveling and I like teaching, and we are doing a huge event in less than 2 weeks. Not this weekend, but the following March 23rd through the 25th in New York City. Again, I'm going to be teaching alongside some of my idols that I looked up to.
Yeah,
Boss Rutan.
Got some big names working with you.
Yeah,
That's
TJ
crazy.
Dillashaw's now on it.
No
who's
way.
the current UFC champ. His coach, Dwayne Ludwig, Shinzo Machida, Lyoto Machida's brother. They have the Machida karate style for MMA. And Andy Sauer, a guy that I looked up to since I was 13. So it's going to be crazy. I'm going to be the first one to teach, and then I'm hosting. It's actually going to be a live stream event as well.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
you
awesome.
can tune in from wherever you're at.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a crazy event.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching.
Yeah, definitely.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
What is the so of all the things you've worked with Boss Rutan before? Is there anyone where I'm terrible at meeting famous people personally?
Yeah.
I'm just not good at it. I constantly embarrass myself. Do you feel in awe of certain people when you go in? Are you like, whoa, dude, I'm about to film a video with Boss Rutan? Or do you get butterflies or
Yeah. I still get nervous before any time I film with someone. I still get nervous. But I kind of enjoy it. I've come to really enjoy that feeling because I know that it's a big thing. My stomach wouldn't have butterflies in it if it wasn't a big deal. So I'm like, you know what? I don't get to feel this all the time, so I'm going to enjoy this feeling. When I saw Santra and I knew I was going to spar him, I kind of got that feeling. But I was more excited. I was like a little kid. When I saw Floyd, I never actually did a video with Mayweather, but when I saw him, I think it was at the Maidana press conference for the second fight, I kind of had that feeling of being starstruck. I'm like, whoa, there he is.
Yeah.
It's Floyd Mayweather right there. And then I was like, he's a lot smaller than I expected.
Do you get that ever? Does anyone ever tell you that? Whoa, man, you're smaller
All the
than I
time.
expected.
Yeah,
Really?
that's one of the first things that people always say. Yeah, I thought you were a lot bigger.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Funny stuff. All right, man. Let's see, Marco. We're at about
Where are we at?
40 minutes.
40 minutes? Nice.
Yeah.
What's
Time
in the
flies.
news with the boxing world? I've been
Want
traveling
to
a
spend a
lot.
little time talking about boxing on the boxing podcast?
Sure, why not? There was some fights this weekend.
There was
right?
a lot of fights this weekend.
Well, a lot's been going on, not just the fights.
Well,
let's
yeah.
talk about Canelo.
Unfortunately, all the fights this weekend, they're all overshadowed because Canelo tested positive for clenbuterol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a
Trace
disease
it.
or is that a drug?
Clenbuterol, it's a banned substance in basically anywhere where they have competition sports, but it's a fat burner. So it's not like what Tyson Fury tested positive for. It's not like an anabolic steroid that increases testosterone. It helps you burn fat and keep muscle mass, which is why certain native Mexican athletes have tested positive for clenbuterol, because you can't do this in the United States, but some meats in Mexico have clenbuterol to eliminate the fat content and make leaner cuts of meat. And that's I don't want to call it the excuse because it sounds like I'm saying he made it up, but that's what Canelo has claimed, was that it was the result of eating tainted meat in Mexico, and he's moving his camp for the duration now to the United States, and will subject himself to any amount of testing that they see fit.
So the fight's not in jeopardy because of it?
There is an ongoing investigation, so I won't say the fight's not in jeopardy, but I wouldn't ask, like I won't ask, there's no way that we know if he's taking the substance or not for real. It's all complete speculation, but
Yeah.
I will say, if this wasn't Canelo and this wasn't the biggest fight that you could make in boxing, would the outcome be different?
Yeah, I mean, too
What do you
many
guys think?
people stand to make money, not just the fighters, the promoters, the officials, the sponsors, the stadium. Too many people will lose money if it doesn't get made. So, they're finding a way around it. I mean, who knows if it was from tainted meat? Could be, or that could just be the most convenient excuse. I mean, that's what I think.
What do you think?
I was really torn when I heard it because I'm a fan. I'm a fan of both guys.
Sure.
I hate cheaters, and I don't like. I don't think he is. I don't think he's a cheater. When you're at that level, however, you should be checking everything. Like Chris Algieri, before he started working with Camara, he's like, "Is there this in it? Is this in it?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." And he's like, "Okay," because I already had it sent to USADA to get it checked before I drink any of it. Like if he's doing it, and Canelo's not doing it before checking the foods that he's eating, that's just unprofessional.
Well, yeah, that's like the same thing that happened with John Jones on the last one, right? He tried to say that, it was a supplement that I was taking, and the supplement was tainted. But if you're on that level,
That's part
and
of it.
then you got popped like 2 times before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's,
I mean, I have a couple comments kind of related to that. The first is that if you're Canelo, you have however many resources you need to make sure that you're not putting this stuff. This wasn't, Joe, somebody who was fighting on the undercard of something. He's the biggest name in boxing. He's a multi-millionaire. Whatever resources you need from a dietary perspective to make sure that you're not putting things in your body, he has or should have. So I can see why people would be upset even if it were, in fact, tainted meat. And then the other thing is, I mean, Tyson Fury tested positive for something completely different. It was nandrolone that he tested positive for, which increases testosterone. But he claimed to have gotten that from eating wild boar. And the commission will tell you have to avoid horse and boar meat. VACA and all the different substance committees will tell you avoid horse and boar meat because they have nandrolone. And he got a 2-year suspension coming off of the biggest win of his career, becoming the lineal heavyweight champion of the world, and then now has been out of action for over 2 years because of it. So it's kind of, I can see why some people might think that there's some unfair advantage or something given to Canelo.
but yeah, a lot of people will say, why does Canelo get a pass and other people don't?
Yeah, other people don't, or whatever the case is.
But we'll see. I think that makes Triple G even more likable.
Yeah.
Makes him even more likable, and yeah, I think nobody likes a cheater, like you said. So,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Two questions. Who do you guys think won the first fight, and who wins the rematch?
We discussed this already. I said
You go first.
Well, Triple G definitely won the first one. I think he won by 2 rounds. I think Canelo should be able to adjust and win the second one.
Personally, I think I'm okay with the draw. I think Triple G won. But if you said, hey, I found another round for Canelo, and as a result it was a draw, or maybe even another 2 rounds for Canelo, I think Triple G won by more than a round, I could understand it, and you could probably make a case for it. I think it was a problem more because of the one scorecard. So someone saying that, Canelo is like a 118 victory.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand someone trying to make a case that Canelo won. I can only understand people saying it's a draw.
Agreed.
I think that Canelo will win in a rematch. The superior boxer, once he's figured it out, tends to have an easier time in the second outing. And you can see every time Floyd Mayweather took 6 or 7 rounds to figure someone out, a la Marcos Maidana, or whoever you want to, the second match does not tend to go to the same way because he's a superior boxer.
Well, that's like Andre Ward and Kovalev. You know, the first one was pretty tough.
First one was tough.
But he's a superior boxer. Yeah, the second one, no contest.
And I think that Canelo is sort of a superior boxer. When you look in, I'm speaking in terms of technical boxing skills, not, and I also think that, he does have clearly some devastating power. So it's kind of, I think Canelo probably wins. But what do you think?
No, I agree 100%. That's like exactly how I feel. Yeah. Although anyone can get caught by Triple G and lights out. So, and I love Triple G. So.
I'm a huge Triple G fan. I've seen him fight a few times live at the Forum, at StubHub Center, and he'll have stacked raps this time.
Yeah, right. And he's intelligent too. He does.
He is.
I mean, it's not to say that he's not a boxer because he.
That's true.
Who was it that he came out against and just jabbed him the whole time? Lemieux?
Yeah, Lemieux.
Lemieux, yeah. And that looked like a different Triple G.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
So maybe he'll switch up his game plan completely.
Yeah, he's been able to adjust. He does have some things going for him where Canelo landed some solid shots and didn't seem to phase Triple G at all.
Yeah.
So if he can make some adjustments off that, because Canelo's going to have to be punching and moving, good combos, punching and moving. But if Triple G can eat 1 or 2 and then land his big shot, he'll get close enough to maybe hurt Canelo. And I think Canelo was respecting Triple G's power, which any fighter should. So it's still a pick'em fight for
That's
sure.
a good one. I think it is because I don't think it's the same fight as last time. So what you saw last time was a Triple G who was extremely reserved, didn't really turn on any kind of real pressure in terms of applying punches. He was moving forward, but wasn't actually putting on punching pressure with real power until after the 3rd round. I think he maybe had a little bit too much respect for Canelo and what he was able to do. And Canelo, I think, showed a hesitancy to stand and exchange, although I would say it's probably when he was most successful in the fight. It's when he was standing and exchanging with Triple G in the middle of the ring. He started to fail as he would go and try the sort of boxing on the outside of the ring kind of thing. Both guys watching the tape, I mean, if you're Triple G and you watch that tape, you have to go, I should have applied pressure earlier and harder, right? The same way I do for everybody else. I shouldn't have taken 3 rounds off. I should have, done that. And if you're Canelo, you should say, I won every exchange at the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we should make some changes based on that. So it could be a little bit different than we saw last time. Hopefully it is in terms of judging.
It'll be exciting, that's for sure.
Yep.
But did you watch the fights last night?
I did. I watched hours of boxing last night.
Yeah. There was that Oscar Valdez versus
Queeg. Yeah.
And that was at StubHub.
That was at StubHub in
raining.
the pouring rain. Yeah, in the pouring rain. There were some fans out there.
So that was an interesting fight because the guy didn't make weight. He was about 3 pounds, 2.5 or 3 pounds.
Almost 3. He was like 2.8 pounds. Yeah.
So it was contracted, I think, at 126, and the guy showed up at 128.9.
Yeah.
And
weighed in over at like 142.
Yeah. So the very next day, when they weighed in again, Oscar Valdez was 135, and the other guy is 142.
142. Yeah.
And when that happens, the fighter who doesn't make weight, he has to pay a 20% fine to the commission, and then additionally he has to renegotiate his contract with the other fighter and give him some kind of penalty or compensation for. So they had to renegotiate, and it was a tough fight. It made me think like, okay, Oscar Valdez really did. He could have said, "No, I don't want to take the fight. The guy's way overweight." But he took the fight anyways, and subsequently he got his tooth knocked out.
Well, his front teeth were loosened. Yeah, he was spitting blood like I've never seen probably in a fight.
Man,
There was lots and lots. He had to keep his mouthpiece in. He couldn't take it out after that between rounds and stuff like that. Yeah, so it was pretty bad. But I think it was a great fight though.
But do you think that's worth it? I mean, he
If
took a lot of damage in that fight.
He did take a lot of damage, but I mean, if you're Oscar Valdez, it's the payday and doing what he did, which is to say that he did win a really competitive fight against a bigger man, and his credibility in that division is rising. He's a bigger name for that fight than he would have been without it, right? Like, Mike Alvarado took a lot of punishment in the first Brandon Rios fight, but nobody says, would it have been better for Mike Alvarado not to take that fight? No, that fight is sort of one of the defining moments of his career, and I think that's something that Valdez gets for having done this at StubHub Center, where they've had so many wars that are like that. He's going to benefit from having taken this fight.
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
the Rios and Alvarado fight, nobody missed weight.
No, nobody missed weight, but I'm saying he'll benefit in the same way.
Yeah,
he'll benefit in the same way that they did.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because the guy did make weight, so the title wasn't on the line anymore.
Yeah, that's true. The other thing that's a little bit different, these guys were sparring partners for Valdez Mariaga, so that's just over a year ago, or maybe a little bit less than a year ago. How do you think that how's that impact you going into the ring? So you're going in the ring against a guy who you have sparred before, so you know a little bit about what he's bringing. He knows a little bit about what you're bringing. You have your opinions, I'm sure, on who came out on top in those particular sparring sessions.
With Queeg?
Yeah. So what do you think? How does that change your mindset going into it?
You just mean in general? Like
just in
if you
general.
sparred or trained with someone
You
before?
sparred or trained with them, and now you're going in and having a real, competition fight with that individual.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, do they know what you're bringing, and then can you fool them by being one step ahead of them and be like, yeah, I have a really good jab, but I'm not going to use it. Like being 3 steps ahead of them. I mean, it's part of the game. That's pretty often that happens, though. That they fought in amateurs and then they fight again in pros.
In amateurs, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they've trained together and then they have to fight. I mean, some people don't. I don't know if it's like this in boxing, but kickboxing, like if you guys are in the same division and you're fighting, and you'll have to fight each other if it's tournament style. Does that happen in boxing? Like, can you fight someone in the same gym?
Oh, that's a good point.
Well, today we were at a show, Hawaiian Gardens, and a kid who used to train here. He's not a kid; he's about 24. He used to train here. His name is Trooper Franklin, and he still comes here on the weekends to do sparring. He fought against one of the guys from this gym, so kind of the same situation. And it was pretty weird. They had sparred. Trooper said he sparred the guy before, and the other guy, Kimani, said, "Oh, I don't remember sparring him," but Trooper won that fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so for me it was weird because
So partial credit.
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
it's gonna happen. Sometimes I think there's nobody else to fight, so you guys got to get in there and do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens on every level, I mean, as you get higher on the, in boxing, there's only so many names in there, so of course eventually you're gonna have to fight, or that happens a lot, like Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson used to train together. And
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, eventually they fought. So, yeah.
Who's the best heavyweight of all time?
That's a good question.
Tyson Fury.
The Gypsy King. You heard it here.
I can't
You
help
heard
but
it
love
here
that
on
guy,
this.
man.
Yeah,
You can't, right?
Oh, God, he's
He's
so entertaining.
He's the greatest
cracks me up.
personalities. But
Marco mentioned that we bring him up every week. It's like even if he's in the news or not, and he's just such a highly entertaining individual.
Oh, my God.
yeah,
Cracks me up.
he needs a podcast.
Yeah, he
he
does.
needs a live stream.
Yeah, he does.
Right?
That's a brilliant idea. You should be his manager, yeah, because
Yeah,
that's great.
Could give up boxing, fighting, and just commentate on it. But yeah, they it was weird watching 2 guys that trained in the same gym fight each other today. I mean, the Trooper comes in on the weekends. He started here. He's in the Marines, so he's in San Diego most of the week.
Okay.
in
I've met
Oceanside.
Trooper.
Yeah, he's in Oceanside most of the time, and then he just comes over here like Friday night, Saturday. But it was weird. He won. I was happy for him. I was a little disappointed for the guy who was here Monday through Friday.
Right.
But
it's an experience. I mean,
yeah,
improves in that sense. So.
yeah, but yeah, exactly. I mean, somebody's got to get better, anyways, and competition always gets you better either way. So.
Exactly. Win or lose.
Yeah, but the Queek's back to the fight. Queek's face was destroyed.
Yeah, man.
Even though
he looked like he had a
Valdez was
rearranged.
bleeding, but Queek's nose is broken and
Yeah.
he looked bad.
Both those guys took some serious shots for sure, but it was a really entertaining fight, and I think the scorecards, while I agree they were accurate, they just don't reflect the competitiveness of the fight,
Yeah.
right? Like it's one of those things where Valdez wins by a pretty decent margin. You might look at it and think he ran away with it. He didn't. It was a very competitive fight, and it was.
He got wobbled once or twice.
Sure,
I think.
sure. I kind of felt like you could see the size difference. Did you feel
Yeah,
that way?
yeah.
Like I think you could see it in the way it played out.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. He did look much bigger. I noticed it right away, like in the second round. I was like, man, this guy's way bigger.
Yeah.
But then there was another fight. I was flipping back and forth. Was the Mikey Garcia versus
Sergey
there
Lipinets.
you go, I can't say it.
Yeah,
But that was, I would say the Valdez fight was better. But
it was definitely better. Yeah.
But the Mikey Garcia fight wasn't too far behind.
Also competitive.
It was competitive. He moved up in weight, and I thought that guy looked much bigger than Mikey.
Yeah,
as
he
well.
did look. But so Mikey now is only the third person to win titles at
4 weight
126.
divisions.
Yeah, 126, 130, 135, and 140. The other two are Juan Manuel Marquez and Manny Pacquiao,
Yeah.
future Hall of Famers.
Yeah, and
Yeah, good company.
he talked about moving up even more, right? To
147.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought he looked a little bit soft and a little bit fat in the midsection. That's the first time I've seen Mikey look kind of.
I mean it's definitely the biggest he's been, but I don't know if he looks soft and fat, but I am surprised at how competitive that fight was. So Mikey Garcia is a world-class fighter. Like he's someone who they talk about as pound per pound. He was a candidate for Fighter of the Year last year. He defended 4 times, I think. For someone who is going up against someone who's relatively inexperienced, so Sergey Lipinets, he's an undefeated champion. Only had like 14 professional fights. Only fought like 40 times in the amateurs, right? So in his whole career, he's got like 50-something fights. Fighting Mikey Garcia, I didn't feel like the fight should have been as competitive as it was, especially when Garcia found a home for that right hand anytime he wanted to,
Yeah.
but still couldn't.
But he couldn't
still
drop. He couldn't drop.
He
him.
couldn't. I mean, he did get him with the hook, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like, so what is that? If you're a fan and you're watching this, or you're an analyst, commentator, or even another fighter who's saying, hey, should I take a fight with Mikey Garcia? Did his stock go up or down? Like, do you look at that and feel like, hey, if this guy can give Mikey Garcia a hard time, I for sure could do some damage to Mikey Garcia.
Well, the fact
Or
that
is it-
it went the distance, he did drop him once, and the right hand was landing.
Yeah.
He didn't drop him with the right, even though that landed
That's
the
true.
most.
Yeah.
But the guy didn't stay down. He went the distance. I think his stock went down, and generally,
so.
and generally, when you go up in weight, your power goes down.
Sure.
So.
I mean, he still looked powerful to me. Like the right hands had some authority, and so did the left hooks. But if I'm watching that fight, I think that looked more competitive than it should have been. Mikey Garcia looks a little bit more vulnerable now at 140 than he did in past fights, I think.
I didn't catch it, but when did he say that he's considered moving up to 147? Was that immediately after the fight?
Immediately
in
after.
the post-fight?
But, what he said, to be clear, so first he wants to go back down to 135 for a unification bout. Then he wants to pick up a second title at 140. And then after that, 147. But he said that welterweight is definitely in his future, and he wants to chase the fifth weight division. So, I mean...
Who would he fight at 147? Like, if he were to go up?
They talked about Garcia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny Garcia?
Yeah. So they talked about... That was the one that Showtime brought up. Would you be interested in fighting Danny Garcia?
You want to get him? He's Philly.
I know.
Right?
I know.
You probably hear about him all the time, right? Or
Yeah.
you keep tabs on what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to get him in a video.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
That would be cool.
Well,
Did you watch his fight the other week?
No.
No?
No, I think I was in Asia. when that
Yeah.
happened, yeah.
He had a pretty massive knockout.
Oh, against
Yeah.
Rios, right?
Yeah.
Snapped his head
Pretty-
back. Yeah, I
pretty
felt
good.
bad for Rios.
Yeah,
man.
I did too.
I think
Yeah.
like all power went out as soon as he hit him. It seemed like all his motor functions just like stopped for a second.
Yeah.
You know, it was such a good.
It wasn't even like a big punch either. It was just accurate.
Yeah.
Right on target.
Yeah.
Boom.
I was telling Marco, I think I even said this on the podcast after it, that it's like they somehow ended up like perpendicular to each other. Like he stepped out at an angle and that punch went straight through in this direction. Just
And that
him
lazy jab though, that
Yeah.
Rios throw, just set him up perfect for it.
definitely.
You know what? He was doing really well in the fight. He was putting a lot of pressure on Garcia. He had him uncomfortable for most of the fight, and that was as good as I've seen Rios look in a long time.
Really, I gotta watch
So
it.
yeah, it was a pretty good fight.
Yeah. But no, so I thought they were both good fights. I
Yeah,
mean,
they were good.
they're both good fights.
Yeah, I think the good fights always set up other good fights. So
Yeah.
you know, I think that's the thing we can take out of the weekend. You know, for Garcia and for Valdez, they should have some even bigger fights coming up.
Yeah.
It was entertaining.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a couple fights obviously coming up. Ramirez and Imam for another vacant 140-pound title. So all the 140-pound titles were basically vacant because Terrence Crawford moved up in weight. So Ramirez and Imam next week, and then Joshua Parker at the end of the month.
That's, you know, it's been a long time since the heavyweight division was the, you know, the crown jewel of boxing. You know, it is again.
Yeah,
It's been
poppin'.
a long time, so that's the most important one for me. I can't wait to see that one, just because I think, you know, it's what's his name? AJ got tested with Klitschko pretty well,
Yeah.
and then Wilder got tested with Ortiz.
Yeah, that was
But,
proper tested.
Yeah, but hopefully we'll see what Parker brings to the table. He talks a good game. He's got a good record. He's undefeated. Big guy, so we'll see.
So wait a minute, who's the greatest heavyweight of all time?
Yeah.
You know what? I always go back to Lennox Lewis.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't hear
and
that
that's
too
and that's
often.
usually the response
Yeah, you
that
don't
people
hear
give me.
You just don't hear it too often.
Yeah. I think if Holyfield was bigger, I would lean towards that. But
Yeah,
no,
he's small.
He
Yeah.
was small for the heavyweight division. But yeah, I always go Lennox Lewis. How about you?
What fight or fights? I'm curious. I just want to. So what is it about Lennox that you think puts him above the other heavyweights that are normally mentioned? Like, you know, obviously people mention Tyson and Muhammad Ali and stuff like that. So what do you see in Lennox?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's just something.
Yeah. There's just something there. Like he seems more sturdy. It didn't seem like he was ever challenged like he was, like the other guys were that you had named.
Yeah, I think Vitali challenged Lennox quite a bit.
Did you ever see that fight?
Vitali
versus
would have won.
Yes.
Vitali was ahead on that fight if it weren't stopped because of the
Yeah, his
cut.
eye was falling.
Yeah, his eye was falling out. But had it not been,
You hate when that happens?
he was definitely winning.
Yeah, he was winning, but his
He was
face was
winning.
getting.
Although
mangled.
I will say that I'm one of the people who everybody tells you that Vladimir is the better of the two fighters, and I've never felt that way. I always thought Vitali was better.
No, it seemed like I didn't follow Vitali's career too much,
Yeah,
but
I
it
was
seemed
gonna
like
say
he
that
was
too.
starting to. He was a little bit older as he started kind of coming into.
on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a little too late, but I remember watching that fight, and he was giving Lennox a really hard time. Lennox wasn't in the best shape that he normally is. I get maybe he didn't train hard enough. Didn't think Klitschko was going to be that much of a challenge, but he was in a lot of trouble if that fight didn't get stopped.
Yeah, I agree.
But he did land a lot of good shots as well. So and I kind of do agree that Lennox Lewis is an overlooked heavyweight. He
Definitely.
he used, as far as when I'm teaching technique, I do watch a lot of Lennox Lewis and what he does, mainly because he learned a lot of his stuff from Emmanuel Stewart, who I consider the best boxing coach of all time.
Yeah.
And especially the jab, the way he uses the ring. I think Lennox Lewis definitely is at the top.
Up there.
Yeah.
I agree. He's definitely up there for sure.
Yeah, I mean he
Overlooked, I would say.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
definitely categorize him in the overlooked
I mean,
category.
he's a big man. He's a big
Yeah.
man, and he.
And I do think Holyfield is great, but I agree he's a little undersized. He's more like a cruiserweight, you know.
I think he overachieved for sure in the heavyweight division. he was a cruiserweight, right?
Yeah, he was a cruiserweight, basically.
Yeah, he's a cruiserweight, but and then I do think he spent a lot of his energy fighting Riddick Bowe.
Sure.
And sometimes these fighters,
Yeah.
that's why I bring up the Valdez fight, because and was it worth it for him to take on a bigger guy who didn't make weight? Because a lot of these fights, they're career changing. You know, when you have those type of fights,
Sure.
they're career changing. You know, like when Chavez fought some guy named Meldrick Taylor. Meldrick Taylor was on Team USA, an Olympian, one of the fastest guys in the world. You know, and Chavez was a good body puncher, a good boxer, tough. Nobody thought that he could keep up with the speed of Meldrick Taylor, but he beat Meldrick Taylor up so bad that it changed his whole career. You know, so
What do you mean? Like
he was never the same.
like mentally
Yeah.
it changes you? Oh,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
yeah. They take, 8-ounce gloves, 10-ounce
Right,
gloves,
right.
no headgear, 12 rounds. They say Valdez had the heart of a lion to pull through that fight, but
Is it worth it?
maybe he spent he spent many years of his career in that one fight, like
Right. Brain cells.
Yeah.
And more susceptible to knockouts now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll say this: if Andre Ward comes out of retirement and picks up a strap from either Deontay Wilder or Anthony Joshua, I will consider him the greatest heavyweight to ever box.
Yeah.
Wait, who?
Andre Ward.
Huh? Had he talked about that?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I said if he can do that, he's got my vote.
Yeah. Then I'd
He's got
second
my-
that. Yeah.
If he could take either one of those guys and pick up a belt, I'll do it. I mean, they're saying that if Hay drops out, he'll start by taking Tony Bellew in May.
He should be able to beat that guy.
He should be able to, but that's a heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, he would look to pick up a belt from one of those two dudes.
Yeah.
If he can do that,
Man.
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. How much time we got, Chris?
We're a little bit over. You
That's
know,
all right.
it's okay.
Well, I wanted to come back to some of the stuff that Shane's doing, because not just being a YouTube personality, YouTube celebrity, doing seminars, consulting, doing charity events.
Yeah.
You've also got your own. You just came out with your own boxing glove,
Yes.
and I remember you were talking about it for a while, and you were very particular about how you wanted your glove, especially the MMA glove, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how you developed your own glove and how that's going.
Yeah, so we teamed up with a company called Hypnotic, who is run by MMAwarehouse.com. They just have really good connections since they sell so many different products, so they know a lot of different manufacturers and styles, and they sent me out a bunch of different types of gloves, and I just experimented with them for months before I even talked about coming out with my own pair. And I wanted to make sure that they were durable, so just, again, smashed the heavy bag, just weeks on end, made sure they held up, and that's how we came out with the boxing glove. And then the hybrid glove, they actually already had this style, and I just really liked it because it pretty much is a mix between a boxing glove, where it has about 3 inches of padding over the knuckles, but then it has open fingers and a lot of wrist support, so you can grapple, hit mitts, do calisthenics, lift weights, all without taking the gloves off. And I love that, and that's sort of the style that I work out with. I do a lot of circuit training where I'll hit the bag and then immediately go right to lifting up weights, go right to calisthenics, go right to grappling, go right to sparring, go back to the heavy bag. So it was pretty much just a product that I believed in, that I used, put my logo on it, and yeah, the rest is history. They sold out the first batch in 5 hours.
All right. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
both types of gloves, and then we just released them last week, and they are officially all sold out as well.
Wow.
So, working on the next product. Want to release some new things. I don't want to give anything away, but more towards the equipment line of things. Continue making the gloves, but we want to try expanding a little bit as well.
Yeah. Well, I tried the boxing gloves on, and they feel really comfortable. The material on the top, I've tried a lot of boxing gloves. I've
Yeah.
never felt a material like that.
Me neither. And I thought the same thing. I got it, and I'm like, no, I don't like this. And then I tried it for a while. What I do like about them is they're really easy to clean, and they hold up really well. They don't even wrinkle that much. So that was really different from like the synthetic leather or the traditional leather. And I've actually been hearing bad things about traditional leather. Like it wears sooner than the synthetic does. So
Well, yeah, if you kind of leave them in your gym bag wet,
yeah,
they'll start to peel. The top layer will peel off.
right.
So you gotta always keep them dry.
And
But,
leather like attracts moisture too.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, they're nice gloves. That's awesome, man.
You reached
Keep
out to
it up.
them, right?
we've kind of had a partnership going back and forth. They
Okay.
sponsored me for a couple of different videos, and then I did reach out to them
Yeah.
eventually. and I
Compared
said,
to making gloves for other manufacturers, these were gloves that you'd used in the past. That you
yeah,
thought, yeah.
but I will say at that time I did have 4 brands reaching out to me saying we want to collab on a glove. So I was like, it was literally 5 companies on the table that I was like, which one do I go with?
And they were all sending you samples. Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have so many gloves at my house right now. I got to do giveaways more often. I have so many gloves. Just
Yeah.
boxes filled with them. Yeah. Boxes filled with boxing gloves.
Have you ever thought about opening your own gym?
Yes. Okay, that's another one every day. Every day. I don't think I'm ready for it. Like running a YouTube channel, Instagram, just social media in general, now doing equipment, also training people, it's a lot. And the same way I recommend it to my clients, if you're not going to be consistent and work hard at YouTube or whatever it is, your website, then don't do it at all. Don't even make an account. And that's kind of how I feel with running a gym. I don't want to start it yet because I know I'll be spread too thin. But I have plans, and I really want to do something that gives back to the community. Like I would like to open up a martial arts program in the inner cities, because all martial arts gyms are $100 plus a month, and either they're nowhere nearby, these kids in the cities, or they just don't have the money for them. So I would love to develop some sort of community center program, or just open up my own gym there that introduces these kids to martial arts. Because I was 9 years old when I started, and I really do credit martial arts in general to my success.
Well, it seems like you have a lot of opportunities to go in different directions, but going in different directions will pull you away from the one thing that's not the one thing, but they would pull you away from what you're specializing in, the YouTube channels, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, what my setup now, my home gym, I did it that way, so it was kind of like a studio, so it doubles as a film studio and a gym.
It looks good.
Gym. Thank you.
I'm impressed. Sometimes you get to see the garage.
I know.
Portion
I
of it.
try to crop it out.
But it looks good.
But
we gotta get you in there.
Did that increase your content level? Meaning, now that it's there and it's just in your garage, are you able to crank out content faster and stuff like that? It seems like it'd be way more convenient.
I remember there'd be times where it'd be raining outside or something. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I gotta wait for the rain to stop. I'd like hit up a couple local gyms. I'd be like, I need to film a video. Are you guys open? So it's very nice. I also get to work out my underwear whenever I want now too.
You put that on YouTube?
Get more subscribers.
You gotta pay money for those videos.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. Awesome. Well, I think we're almost there, huh?
Yeah, we're about there.
Well, I guess this is the final portion of the podcast.
We made it.
Yeah, we made it. It was quick, right?
Yeah, it did. It flew by.
All right. Well, this is where we usually do the shout-outs, and we just say what's up or mention somebody. Is there anybody, any group of people that you want to give a shout-out to? Say what's up or recognize them?
How about my family? I've been missing my family a lot lately. All this traveling. My mom, my dad, my older brother, my younger brother.
Hey, man, your dad's ripped, dude.
Yo, my dad.
He's like,
I don't know
he's
anyone.
in super shape, man.
He's got to be.
I haven't
50,
seen
He's 57 now, or I think he just turned 57. He's in better shape than I am.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Works out every day.
Yeah.
Great diet.
Yeah, I've
He's a
seen
specimen.
plenty of pictures. I might have met him once. I can't remember him.
I think you met him at the
Yeah, I
million
think-
subscriber party at YouTube.
Yeah, but
He looks just like me,
I
but
know-
younger. He looks younger than me.
Man, that's good though. I definitely give him props though for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll pass it along.
For me, shout out to Los Angeles native former Olympian Michaela Mayer. She fought on the undercard of Valdez and Puig. I think it was her 4th professional fight, and she won by TKO 35 seconds into the first round. So,
Wow.
there it is.
Yeah, there's the ambulance going to pick up her opponent. Yeah, she's impressive. We've talked about the progression of female boxing a lot on the podcast, and she's definitely leading the charge. You know, I think
For sure.
we're gonna try to get her as a guest on the show soon.
That would be awesome.
And
Yeah.
I think next week we might actually have a female WBC champion. So
Nice.
yeah, we're keeping our fingers crossed on that.
Yeah.
One.
Cool.
Yeah, but she's Michaela's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
She's good.
Who's your shout out to, Coach?
My shout outs to Joey Abudi is his name. He's a 17-year-old kid who started training here
Oh, yeah.
about 7 months ago. He had his first fight today, and the nickname I gave him is KO Joe, because every time we take him sparring, he knocks somebody out.
What?
Yeah, and he's about 5'8", 135 pounds, 133 pounds, and this kid has so much energy. But the funny part about him, he looks a little bit like Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber. All right, sorry, Joe.
Lloyd Christmas.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
He's got
but
the bowl cut.
so yeah, but he's the nicest, sweetest kid. He's very unassuming.
Dude, run with that.
Yeah,
He should
and-
go with Lloyd Christmas as his nickname.
That's from
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
but
it.
he's the nicest kid. But when he gets in the ring, he's vicious. Today, he won his first fight, 3rd round TKO. I just want to give a shout out to Joe and say congratulations, Joe.
Congrats,
Everybody in the
KO
gym,
Joe.
yeah, everybody in the gym is proud of him, and he throws about 1,000,000 punches a second. He's fast, and he trained 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday, to get ready for the fight.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's got a good future ahead of him. So big shout out to Joe.
Nice.
Good job.
Good work, Joe.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. Shane, I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
man.
Marco.
Yeah, that was
That's
fun.
something, yeah.
Thanks, Shane. Appreciate it.
Of course,
Good seeing
of
you
course.
again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this. I really did. So thank you, guys.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
All right, guys.
We're out.
Next time.